some of the things I've collected. Monkey D. Luffy wants to be king of the pirates, and he's very toxically optimistic. And I honestly just think that's really funny. And then I started reading the manga. Hey you guys, I just wanted to take a minute to nerd out about a thing that I really love. And you know how sometimes you just like something so much and nobody else you know in real life really gets it? Well, that's me in One Piece. And I just wanted to yap about a thing I like, and maybe somebody else on the internet also likes it. And you'll want to yap back. So I thought I would take a minute to talk about the series and why I like it, and show you some of the things I've collected from the One Piece universe. I have a couple of different shirts. Unfortunately, one of them is in the laundry right now, but I got both of them. I'm a big secondhand shopper. I prefer to get almost everything in my life secondhand. And so this shirt I got on eBay, and I got so lucky and I found a Zorro shirt at a thrift store once for $3, and it's very cool. I wish it wasn't in the laundry right now so I could show you. Anyways, the reason that I got so into One Piece was honestly because of the Netflix series, the live action series that came out. And I think a lot of new fans probably have that to thank for it too. In case you don't know, One Piece is an anime, it's a manga, it's a live action now, and it is set in a universe of piracy, and the main character, who's Monkey D. Luffy, wants to be king of the pirates, and he's very positive and almost toxically optimistic, but like in the best way as far as I'm concerned. I really love Monkey D. Luffy, and I honestly relate to him so much in that he is kind of thriving on Delulu, but he's also so supportive of his, not just his friends, but like friends and strangers. And he wants all of them to get their deepest dream come true. Whatever that is, whatever speaks to their heart. That's what he wants. And I love that. I love a person who gasses another person up, who's really like, yeah, you can do it, and is there not just to say, yeah, you can do it, but to support them in that effort. And that's who Monkey D. Luffy is, and I love that. He's also a goober who gets himself in a lot of trouble, which is also pretty relatable. But this was a gift from my husband, and I haven't collected the Zorro one yet, but I think there are only those two characters. That have been released in these Netflix action figures. these are gonna really make any sounds. But I'm gonna show you my little blind bag figures. I have them all hanging from little teacup hooks inside of a cabinet. And I'll just tell you a little bit about each of the characters. So, let me find. Okay, so here's Monkey D. Luffy. Here's him when he was a kid. And when he was a little kid, like, I don't know, in the show he looks like he's about 10 maybe, but I'm guessing that he's probably younger than that in the series because in the manga because he looks tiny. Anyhow, he wants to be a pirate and he wants to go with the pirates right away, and they won't let him come. And to prove that he's brave and he's not afraid of pain or anything, he knifes himself in the face, which, okay, we can argue that maybe that's not the best way to show that, but kids are kind of stupid, so I buy it. And then the pirate that he wants to go with when he's a kid is red-haired Shanks. He's a pirate, and he's really nice to Luffy, and this is his idol. So when Shanks ends up going away, well, he gets his arm chomped off by a sea creature trying to save Luffy from the sea creature. Anyways, he gives Luffy his straw hat. So this is Luffy's most prized possession. And Luffy's superpower he got because he ate a devil fruit, which gives you some kind of crazy power, but it also prevents you from being able to swim. You sink like a stone in the ocean. So it has a gift and a curse involved with it. Some of Luffy's crewmates that he's acquired, these are two of the same character. They're not twins in the series, but they were two different versions of the same item in the blind bags. The same guy. This is Zoro. He wants to be the greatest swordsman that ever lived. And so he fights with a 3-sword style. So in this one you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not. I'll do the influencer hand and maybe that'll help. He's got his 3 katana. Also on Luffy's crew is Sanji. And Sanji wants to be the greatest chef. And I think he wants to be a chef at a place called the All Blue, which is like the greatest restaurant in all of the oceans. He fights only with his feet because his hands are his chef's superpower. He doesn't have nobody else on Luffy's crew has a devil fruit. This is Nami. And Nami is the navigator. And she started out being very anti-pirate, and I love her character arc. But Luffy won her over because he got her out of a really serious problem she was in. And she realized that Luffy was a true friend and had her back, and so she joined his crew. And this is Usopp, and he wants to be a brave warrior of the sea, but they all start out kind of problematic, I guess. He was like a pathological liar. He would never ever tell the truth about anything, and he would make up these great grand stories about himself and about the fact that he was a pirate. And in the manga, he's got a whole crew of little kids that follow him and believe his tales and then end up having his back when he needs it. And I really love that when they go, he's a great storyteller. And I really love that when they go to ports and things, Luffy listens in and just lets Usopp tell the stories as if those were his stories, as if he was the pirate. and he looks just as enthralled by the stories as all the other people that are listening to Usopp. Now we have some villains coming up. This is Axe Hand Morgan. He's got a big metal plate over the top of his mouth. And Mihawk, right now, in the story that I've read so far, he's a better swordsman than Zoro, and so Zoro is really looking to conquer him someday. He not only has this humongous sword on his back, but he also has a teeny tiny little sword that's about 4 inches long that he ends up beating Zoro with in a duel. But he knows that Zoro is an up-and-comer, and he's passionate about swordsmanship, and so he doesn't kill him, he lets him live to fight another day. This guy is called Arlong, and he's the one who had Nami trapped, and he was using her as a moneymaker, thief, and a navigator. And he is a fish man. I really love the way on this, he wasn't one of my favorite villains, but I really love how on this one they made his little kind of like swordfish nose, and I don't know, I think he's funny looking. My favorite villain overall is Buggy the Clown, and I think he's so funny because he is so pressed about Luffy. He cannot handle it, and I honestly just think that's really funny. And he gets so outraged, and Luffy barely remembers his name. He's always calling him Bingy and Boggle and like anything but Buggy, and every time Buggy is so irate. I don't know why, I just think that's so funny. So I watched the live action series all the way through, probably 3 or 4 times in 3 or 4 days. And then I started reading the manga from the library because I wanted to see how much of it actually matched up with the series. So currently I'm on volume 17, and I'm not going to read 18. Let me tell you why. So I was so enchanted by the first season of... Oh, also, you should probably know if you're new to manga, you don't read these the same way. This probably looks like it's backwards, but it's not. You read these from what would be in America the back of the book to the front. So you read this direction, and you start on this page and read that way. So, anyways, the reason I'm not reading past any of the parts that I've already seen in the live action is because I felt like the first season I was so enchanted by it because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen. And I felt like when I was watching the second season, it was just so full of spoilers. And it was kind of like I already knew what was going to happen. I was kind of bummed. So, I know I'm probably doing it opposite of the way most people prefer to do it, which is to know everything that's going to happen in the series and see if the live action matches up. But I just like the actors so much in the series, and I don't know, I'm still a live action first kind of girl for this series only. This is the first time in my life I've ever felt that way. It's not that I don't enjoy the manga or the anime, because I do. I like them both, and I watch the anime just going to show you some kind of random other things. The pirate ship that the Straw Hat Pirates, which is Luffy's crew, that they're in, is called the Going Merry. And this is their Jolly Roger, although when Luffy draws it, it has a lot more personality. We'll say that. This is a sticker for my car. I'm gonna put it on the front like where a masthead would be, because this is the masthead on the Going Merry. In the manga, it's called the Merry Go. It's a little ram. And this sticker does not feel like it's exceptionally sturdy, so I'm a little worried about putting it on my car, but unless I can find one that's a higher quality vinyl, this is definitely going on the front of my little Prius. My bazillion-year-old Prius. These are, I guess the best way to describe them is to say snail phones. They are communication devices in the One Piece universe. And these ones, I think, are modeled after different characters, maybe that I haven't seen in the series yet. Like, I definitely think this one must be after a character. I put this one on a sketchbook. Chopper incredibly cute in the series. The beefed up monster version of Tony Chopper was a horror show. But I think I understand why that is. So, I feel like they could have toned it down a little bit. This is Ichiro Oda's actual artwork from the manga. I copied it on my own printer. I'm not like selling it or giving it away, or I'm literally just cutting it out and taping it in my book so that I can try to draw it later. But this is what he looks like. Which I have to say is a lot less terrifying than the makeup they did on that on the actor. So here's the first one. I'm going to use some washi tape and I'm just going to stick it in there. I'm not used to having to get this stuff with fingernails on. Oh, it doesn't fit. It's still too big. Alright, let's try that. So, that fits about in there. So I have that one. And I guess I'll do either this one or this one. And you can see here why they ended up making the guy in the series, quite a bit scarier. I just think they went too far. I also think that this scary creature is how Dr. Earlook finds Chopper, and he still takes him in. I think they kind of did a disservice to the story by Dr. Earlook finding the cute version of Chopper. just so much stuff that I would have liked to say about the series, because I was just rambling along. But if you have any questions, or if you have things you want to tell me about what you like about the show, or definitely tell me how you felt about the Chopper, the Tony Chopper transformation, please let me know. Also, I think that they did I can't think of what her name is right now, the witch doctor. What is the witch doctor lady's name? I don't know. Anyways, the actress they picked for her did incredible. She was amazing. The laugh, the attitude. I also think that in the live action, the costumers did such an amazing job. I'm constantly blown away by how faithfully they interpret the costumes. And yeah, I guess that's it. I hope this was fun for you. It was definitely fun for me. I could talk all day about One Piece and why I like it, and nuances of the characters,